Tonight, we take you inside a hypothetical congressional showdown unlike anything the Democratic Party has ever faced. A moment where ideology, ego, and generational power finally collide in one explosive confrontation. Jasmine Crockett, fierce, sharp-tongued, unapologetically bold. A rising force who speaks with the fire of a generation tired of waiting. Bernie Sanders, a progressive icon whose name shaped a movement, a man who has spent decades fighting the system from the inside and out. But what happens when the new fighter steps directly in front of the old lion? What happens when demands for urgency meet decades of political scars? A new voice challenging an old legend? Power meeting pressure behind tightly closed doors? A party forced to decide which future to follow? Drop your prediction in the comments. Who walks out stronger, Crockett or Sanders? Crockett publicly criticized the Sanders AOC fighting oligarchy tour, calling it less of a strategic push for Democratic victories and more of a personal branding exercise. Her words cut deep, not because they were loud, but because they challenged something Sanders has built his entire legacy on. For decades, Bernie Sanders has positioned himself as the uncompromising defender of working people. So hearing a rising star suggest he was drifting towards self-promotion, that landed like a punch to the gut, and it created a quiet tension few were willing to acknowledge publicly. Now imagine what happened next. A closed-door briefing, away from cameras and staffers, the air heavy, almost suffocating. A long table scattered with economic strategy papers, employment projections, donor analyses, handwritten notes from senior advisors, files left open as if someone had stormed out mid-discussion. And in the center, the fault line between two visions of progress. Jasmine leans forward, elbows on the table, voice steady but sharp enough to cut through the room. We can't build a future by clinging to the past. Her words hang in the air, bold, undeniable, impossible to ignore. Sanders straightens his posture, eyes narrowing with the confidence of someone who's fought these battles for decades. Experience is the future, he snaps back. You don't throw away the blueprint just because you want a faster route. And suddenly, chaos. Advisors shifting in their seats, aides pretending to take notes. Someone in the back whispers, "This is getting out of hand," as a folder nearly slides off the table. Hands hit the desk, chairs scrape, panic spreads like static electricity. Every 30 seconds, the temperature rises, and in that building tension, one thing becomes clear. Stay with me, because in moments, Sanders reaches for the file that triggered all of this. This wasn't just a disagreement, it was a power test, the kind that reveals who is rising and who's holding on. Crockett's strengths were impossible to ignore. She electrifies younger voters, speaks in a language that cuts straight through political noise, and refuses to bow to institutional pressure, even when the room turns cold. Sanders' vulnerabilities, meanwhile, hovered like shadows. Whispers about age, questions about legacy, and a growing impatience from a generation ready for voices that sound like the future, not the past. Crockett's laugh isn't loud. It's sharp, stunned, almost disbelieving. Not mockery, but disbelief that Sanders thinks this is the plan that will save the party. She taps the pages. Bernie, this is a caution manual, not a vision. The room freezes. Staffers glance up. Someone stops typing. Sanders stiffens, eyes narrowing because he wasn't expecting dismissal. He was expecting respect. "This isn't fear," he says quietly. "It's preparation." But Crockett shakes her head. "No, it's hesitation, and hesitation loses elections." The air tightens. 2 generations, 2 strategies, one breaking point approaching fast. Gasps ripple across the room. Aides look up, eyes wide. A staffer's phone, tilted just slightly upward, captures the moment in secret. In this scenario, the tension is so explosive that one leaked quip could detonate across social media in minutes. Sanders exhales slowly, steady but stung. This is where the pass versus push battle truly begins. Sanders believes in pacing. Slow, careful, long-term plans, step-by-step reforms, winning by sustainability, not shock. But Crockett, she wants disruption, now. Rapid action, immediate pressure, No waiting for permission from donors, committees, or tradition. Two visions collide. Two strategies clash. And the room is one spark away from erupting. Time for you to decide. Do Democrats need a fighter or a strategist right now? Type in comments, #Team Crockett or #Team Sanders. We'll feature the top responses in a future episode. Fast forward to a moment of oversight hearing. Microphones hot, cameras rolling, tension thick enough to feel through the screen. Crockett unloads. If your plan worked, people wouldn't be starving in the richest nation on earth. Sanders rises, slams his palm on the desk. Courage isn't volume, it's vision. As it gets heated, reporters sprinting toward the hallway. Staffers scrambling. Newsrooms firing off alerts. Clips spreading online like wildfire. Frame-by-frame breakdowns, instant reaction panels, and millions choosing sides in real time. A political earthquake born from one explosive moment. And here comes the human moment. Behind all the fiery rhetoric, Sanders sits alone for a second. A close-up shot reveals fear not of Crockett, but of irrelevance. He built a movement. He doesn't want to watch it leave without him. In this scenario, Crockett leans into the mic one last time. This country isn't waiting for permission to survive. Either you lead with us or step aside, but don't block the damn exit. Absolute silence. Then applause swept the room. This is the future of the Democratic Party playing out in real time. So here's the question we end on. What happens when the old champion must face the new challenger? Will they clash again? Or unite before the stakes become too high? Drop your thoughts below. I read every comment. Smash like to help this reach more viewers. And subscribe so you don't miss what comes next, because this political story is just heating up.